You ready, Nick? Let's get him. Play my song. Play my...
These Bismarcky. These Bismarcky.
Shout out to the truck drivers, everybody across the nation tuning in to the Dribble. That's my shit. That's my shit. I be needing to hear that, man. Shout out to everybody tuning in, Nick, man. Let's get it going. Word. Damn, that biz shit does something to me, man. Last night I had my shorty. We went through something, man, with the subscription for Paramount, because if you want some content that's on the Showtime app, you gotta, download the Paramount app. That's where all Showtime content is on the Roku and shit. But I was trying to watch that biz joint last night, man. I've been hearing a lot about that shit, man. My cousin told me it's fire, and I need to see that, man. I'm inspired by the music of Biz Markie, man. It always can get a great reaction out of me, man. I think that's very, very important in a hip-hop song and shit. That's what they call timeless music. Anyway, I just got off of Instagram. I was on the Instagram the last couple of hours and shit. I'm suspended from going live on Instagram on my Gully TV page, but I posted a video of a mother, her son, and a guy that she's dating or whatever. I guess he lived with her. And the guy was telling the mother that she needed to put her son out because he said he wanted to he said he paid bills there, and he might want to walk around naked or some shit like that. The son's 29 years old. It's her only child, by the way. I have to put some emphasis on this being her only child. But this nigga was in this lady's kitchen, basically in an argument with her. She said, man, you crazy. You got to go and shit. I'm not putting my son out. This is my only son. Is you crazy? And I thought that was great representation on mom's behalf and shit. You know what I'm saying? I think that more women should stick up for us in that regard. As far as the scenario of him being at home and shit like that, nobody looked into, the personal logistics of the story, whether or not homeboy just come home from prison, whether he just came home from the military, whether he's disabled. Whatever the case, him and his mother was getting along before this guy that she was dating or whatever, the guy that was screaming that he paying the bills, before he came along, they were getting along just fine and shit, and she was perfectly fine with him being at home. I thought that was some sucker shit. Me personally and shit, I would have went ballistic on him right there in the kitchen. Like, the nerve of you. She just told you, not that you should even be questioning my mom on the living arrangements in our crib and shit. You feel me? Married or not, he wasn't even married to her allegedly, but even if they was fucking married, nigga, I don't give a fuck. You don't question the living arrangements up in this motherfucking house. We existed before you got here, and this marriage situation in this day and age has proved to be temporary at times. So you basically implying that she should put her son out for you. What if y'all relationship don't go the way that you planned? How do you think her relationship with her son is supposed to resume in your absence and shit? You know what I'm saying? Family is family before you got there, nigga. I didn't respect that shit. Not only that, I was in a similar situation. Not directly. I was in a similar situation where my mom married a nigga after my pops and shit like that. And I remember a period of time when he thought that he was gonna enforce some rules, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And we had some conflict. He's the first person that I shot at. He the first nigga that I shot at, man. Like, when I was watching this video of this dude telling this woman to put her son out in the crib, out in the streets, I just was, it's a name for it. They call it a stepfather or whatever. I don't know. I don't believe in that shit. You know what I'm saying? My pops is always in my life. I didn't take that well of another guy, You know what I mean? Even the nigga, don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing, my nigga. Like, you're here for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be trying to instill, enforce no policy or nothing like that, man. Like, that's just what it is. But you had people in the comments saying, well, he's 29 years old, and da 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 da. Man, if a motherfucker wants to stay home with his mother and she wants him here, she said, this is my only son. You feel me? He can stay here as long as he wants. That's what it is and shit. It's mothers who have lost their sons. I bet you if you go to FBG Duck's mom and say, yo, do you wish you could have kept your sons in the house with you? You know what I'm saying? Do you wish you could have kept an eye on your sons? You wish you could have had them in the crib with you and shit like that? She would tell you right away. Absolutely. Absolutely. What's out in the streets for someone who's 29? If they don't have a career or have something that's occupying their time, in this day and age, 29 years old, them is the years when you kind of club crazy and shit, going and hanging out and shit like that. You know what comes with that in this day and age and shit. A lot of violence and shit. Your kid ain't promised to return home at night, so she got hers at home. This is the only son she has and shit. This is her only kid. She can be possessive. I think it's unconditional love. If she says it's cool and they're existing, it ain't none of this other nigga business, period, and shit. Like, shorty could be at the crib 29, right? Trying to get a clothing line off the ground and shit. Or trying to get some type of career off the ground. He could be an aspiring musician. He might have his mother who believes in his aspirations. So you could sit here in that bedroom with that keyboard and make them motherfucking beats till you get right. That's their personal decision. I think we need more support. I think we need more support in that regard. I understand the instilling responsibilities and shit. She was there. She was in the home. She's been his mother for 29 years and shit. I'm pretty sure, she got a great way of communicating with her only child and shit. You got a third party coming to the table telling her, yo, you need to put this nigga out. You know what I'm saying? Da 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 da. And I paid the bill. She said, man, you can get the fuck up out of here for real, nigga. You should leave. But that's a conflict that was on my IG. Make sure you following me at IamGullyTV_. I didn't like that shit at all. People was talking about it was like the baby boy scenario and shit. Nigga talking about he want to walk around in the crib naked and shit like that. Nigga, everything that you saying, all of this shit that you're enforcing, you want to, you paying bills and you want to walk around in the crib naked? Sound like you should have your own crib, my nigga. That's what it sound like. You know what his mother ended up telling him, Nick? Telling the nigga? You was living with your mother, nigga, when I met you. You know what I'm saying? So how the fuck am I supposed to put my son out? Like, you bugging. Like, what the fuck is you talking about? But this is something that goes on in general society. Me, you ain't got to give. If you my family, if I love you, I don't love all my family. But if I love you, you ain't got to pay a dime to stay with me and shit. I put the whole bill with shit. You know what I'm saying? I had an uncle that came home from the pen, man. He was institutionalized like a motherfucker, stuck in his way. He ended up having to live with me and shit. And charge this nigga a dime, man. Whatever disability money you getting, welfare and all. I don't want none of that shit, my nigga. Get right, my nigga. And everything gonna be alright, cause you here with me and shit. Like, we good and shit. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no fee on this shit. You my family. You my father's little brother and shit. I'm gonna treat you how my pops would treat you and shit. You know what I'm saying? My pops didn't even fuck with the nigga like that. And ultimately, I had to kick the nigga out of my house. But that's the family shit, man. Like, out of all things that I had to kick this nigga out my crib for, man, this nigga didn't want to give me a fucking ride to the airport, man. I went ape shit on this nigga. I ain't charged you no money, nigga. You don't want to give me no rides. Family shit. But, nah, my family ain't, fuck no. You ain't got to give me no bread. Like, if it's, you ain't got nowhere to go, especially one of my kids. And I be at odds with my sons and shit like that. A couple of them, I don't fuck with them like that. You know what I'm saying? But if you was down bad and you needed some place to be and you didn't have any alternatives and shit, like, I'm not going to charge you. I'm not going to charge you. I brought you into this world. Why would I charge you? Why would I make you a tenant? That's some nigga shit, man. That's some nigga shit, and it's well documented that millionaires, people that invented things, Bill Gates, all types of powerful people, Steve Jobs, was going through situations where they had to be at home or they couldn't, before they took off, when they was trying to get their dribble right, creating that Microsoft shit and all of that, niggas was doing that shit in they fucking people crib, man. Like, and nobody says anything about it. I'm gonna stand down on that whole issue. I made it a point to get on here this afternoon again because I've been listening to a lot of philosophers, and they said whatever everyone else is doing, make sure you do the total opposite. So I've been putting more emphasis on putting out podcast episodes and shit. I'm starting to really fall into I'm starting to really get my stride in regards to the podcast situation. The money aspect, it don't mean nothing to me. Y'all see, I just copyrighted this shit for Biz Markie. I need some dope. That's what we need in this game. We need dope out here. Like, people ain't putting out no dope, man. There's too much emphasis on nigga shit. Nigga shit. When you cut on your computer, what dominates the search engine? Charleston White, Keefy D, whoever got killed recently and shit like that, like Hassan Campbell and Gilly, like, whatever general nigga shit that's going on is promoted before the art form of hip hop. And that's fucked up. That's so fucked up. I believe that people have came to the conclusion that they probably can make more money doing the bullshit online. Speaking of the bullshit online, I gotta touch on this before I get out of here because I'm biased. Anyway, Joe Budden ain't gonna be the only one to say that your album was mid-grade, my nigga Drake. Joe Budden jumped out there and said the music wasn't no good. I had to double back and listen to it. I'm not a Drake fan, but I'm in tune with what's going on. I went and listened to his latest offering. That shit is nothing, yo. That shit is nothing, man. And he caught feelings behind Joe Budden's comments on his finished product. Many people critique music and shit. Somebody like Drake, he's high profile. We gonna critique his shit. Joe Budden spoke on it, and he caught feelings and took to Instagram about it, ridiculing Joe and talking about money and shit like that, calling Joe Budden a failed rapper. I at no point consider Joe Budden a failed rapper and shit. He's one of the top dudes come out the East Coast in the last 20 years and shit, straight like that. He retired on his own to do podcasts, and that's a personal decision. Me personally, I think he can do both on the highest level. Everybody else that ran the podcasting probably didn't have a shot. Fat Joe, his ghostwriter, T.A. blew his cover. Mano can't rap. Just keep on going through the Math Hoffa. He wasn't a good battle rapper and shit. Like, you keep going through, just keep going through it, and you probably gonna see people that really didn't have no other choice. You know what I'm saying? But Joe Budden had a choice. At any time, Joe Budden could jump back in that booth and be one of the top niggas. If you pay attention to his history, whenever he in an issue with somebody, it's one of the top niggas. It's always one of the top niggas. You know why? He know he can back that shit up. He know he could back that shit up. Look at his history. Look at the people that he be jumping out there and getting in conflict with. Went through something with Jay-Z about the Pump It Up beat. Boom. He just told Eminem, who had signed him to Slaughterhouse, nigga, I've been better than you for the last 10 years. He just told him that. These is all the top guys, according to general consensus, these are all the top guys. Hove, Eminem, and now Drake said the music is booty. Don't it sound like he running around barking up them trees, Nick? That's just... Yeah, I like that. I like that about him, man. I like that about him. And you know what? Ain't nobody ever put him in his place. Besides that Wu-Tang situation when, they punched on him and shit. But on the microphone, ain't nobody ever put him in his place. For real, like some niggas just like that. He one of the niggas just like that. So in regards to the Drake situation, and on top of all of this, Drake is reputed to have had ghostwriters and shit. He makes the fuck out of a song. Don't get it fucked up, man. I told y'all, Drake make PA knit music. When you put on your fly knit and get all fly and shit like that, that's the type of ambience you want. You want a little Drake in your life and shit. But when it comes to the MCing thing, and that's what Joe Budden was saying, like, man, this shit ain't like that. He ain't really like that. I don't think his music is good. I very, very rarely have heard Drake put out anything that wasn't good. His collabs are incredible. But when I think about MCs and shit, he's not somebody that comes into my mind and shit. He isn't. And I believe he wants that. I believe he's wanted that for a minute. He's wanted that adoration that Jay-Z and Lil Wayne and, you know, all of these types of dudes get and shit. And I don't think he's there yet. He brought a different style to hip-hop, rapping and singing. It's dynamic. That shit worked for him. He inspired a whole bunch of motherfuckers who've been trying to, you know, use his recipe, but can't do nothing with the jump off, man. That's my opinion on it, and I'm sticking to it, man. If y'all want to go on YouTube and catch my playback from early this morning or yesterday, I did a whole hour long live stream about it. You might want to go over there and check it out. Anyway, back to the hip hop of things, man. People asking me what I'm listening to right now. I'm listening to The Cloth. I'm listening to AZ. Got it? The Cloth. I'm listening to AZ. I'm listening to a lot of The Cloth. I'm listening to Benny the Butcher. I'm listening to West Side Gun. I'm listening to who else? Benny Franks from Chicago. Benny Franks from Chicago, man. I can't get enough of this dude. Like, lyrical, man, and fly. Just dapper, debonair, just the total package. Benny, what up? Shout out to everybody out there in the Chi. They get misrepresented a lot because of all of the violence and shit, but, you know, there's players out there, man. It's always been players and hustlers out in the Chi. Nick, how much time I got left, G? Okay. I'm going to make sure I go back in the booth and put some time on the Shaheem shit, man. I got to get that shit out. Shout out to Sha. He had a situation brewing with Bleak, and the Tupac and the Keefe D situation just came and blew that shit out the water. That's what's burning up the airwaves right now. I ain't got to stay here and talk long about it, but I do want to talk about Reggie Wright before I get up out of here. I went through something with this cat some months ago about my Mark Curry interview, in which Mark Curry revealed that Suge put Puffy in a full dosing and all of this kind of crazy shit. And after Mark's interview, Mark was there, mind you. After Mark's interview, this guy got on Bomb First and felt that he could tell the story and shit. Like, everything that we put out meant nothing, and like my credibility meant nothing and shit. On top of the fact that I had an actual witness there. Mark Curry was the doorman that night. He got on Bomb First and thought that he could recount my story and shit, so we went through that situation. And I know the reason why he felt entitled to the story. It's because he's the police. He's the police. He's the police. He has the police frame of mind. He think like the cops. And he's controlling just like the fucking cops and shit. And I told y'all, long before these grand jury papers came out, I told y'all, this nigga is the police. This nigga is the police. Like, don't fuck with this nigga. Like, you can't trust shit that come out this dude's mouth and everything. Like, all of the deception, all of the trickery and shit, all of the underhanded shit the police do. This nigga practiced this shit, and not only does he practice it, he practices it online. You dig what I'm saying? He was around this shit the whole time. He has the incentive to put niggas in jail. You know why? If all of them niggas go to jail, he can be in control again. Don't forget, this nigga was an administrative. He said it himself. I put out the Chronic 2000. He was he placed himself in an administrative position at Death Row, whether he acquired it by buying it or whether somebody signed a power of attorney to him. But he was out there putting out records and shit like that. He wants to be in this shit. He wants to be. You look at go look at him when he recording and shit. He wearing jewelry. He wearing the fucking frames and shit, looking like a fucking gang member and shit like that. And these niggas continue to talk to this dude. I told y'all he was the fucking police. Now you got grand jury papers with his testimony. And you know what's gonna happen? You know what go with that? Keefy D go to trial. You know who's gonna be there testifying? Reggie motherfucking Wright. Why? He's a Compton police officer. He might not be one now. Yeah, he done been in jail and everything. Yeah, he been in jail because he's a corrupt motherfucker. But because he was a Compton police officer 27 years ago, Little Reg, that's his name. He got an incentive. He has incentives to see everybody that's powerful go to fucking jail. Suge out the way, go to fucking jail, nigga. Keefy D out the way, go to fucking jail, nigga. You know what I'm saying? The rest of the mob, Pyru niggas, they all dead and shit. He could just be the only nigga with any motherfucking power. You know what I'm saying? In the music business and shit. Publishing rights, all this types of shit. He on all of that. Extortion, all of the whole nine. He's a criminal. And he's been in the penitentiary before, so you know he's a criminal. But Reggie Wright, I told y'all not to fuck with this dude. This dude is the cops. His father is the police. The police is in his heritage. Even if Reggie wanted to go this way, his father is still the police. His father is still 100% on their side. He on their fucking side too. I needed to get that out because I appreciate the way that nigga was carrying my name and that platform. That's what he was referring to me as and shit. Like, we don't do this shit. Way before you got here, Copper, like I told you before, way before you got here, I was Gully TV. Straight up. The rest of them, I don't know what you want to call them, older guys from that era that's online, them niggas have 100% destroyed the mystique attached to gang culture out there and shit. Like, when you first encounter that shit and you don't know nothing about it, you just know about the killings and shit like that. That shit frightening because it's real and it's abrasive, right? When you hear these niggas on Clubhouse and when you hear these niggas going through these conflicts and they airing out each other's dirty laundry and shit like that, one thing you know for sure is that these niggas are not in power. There's no way possible no young niggas is listening to them. They not. Them niggas is, nobody's listening to them. Them niggas have zero power. That's why them niggas be online going through the shit that they going through. Them niggas want to establish something online because that might pay them. In real life, you heard Whack 100. He said I had to help Big U out. He couldn't pay his mortgage. Fuck, this nigga can't pay his mortgage. I thought he was the leader of the Crips. He was just on Hip Hop Uncovered. They painted him like a big dog and shit like that. Like, what the fuck is on? This is a conflict to everything that they just tried to put down on us. And Whack 100 goes further into it because I guess they not cool no more. And he just basically said, man, like, he just a big hoodlum. That's basically how he described him and shit. Like, man, this nigga don't get no money. All of these contacts, all of these deals and shit that go on out here, I plug this nigga. This nigga can't validate me. He not this, he not that. I'm like, whoa. You dig what I'm saying? And Whack 100 went as far as to say that he feel that Suge Knight gonna try to put Tupac's murder on somebody that's living. That's, according to Whack, Suge's only way out of the penitentiary and shit. They pretty upset that Suge said free Keefy D. They upset. Reggie Wright is upset. He made a video talking shit, cursing shit. They all talk crazy to Suge now that, you know, Suge been in the penitentiary. I grew up in that era when Suge was on the streets in his prime and shit like that. Wasn't nobody showing their ass, man. Like, everything that happened with Suge, that was after You know, a lot of them dudes that start getting killed and going to jail or whatever. I think most of them got killed, but in his prime, Suge was a great ball of fire, man. Like, nobody came out here talking all of these stories about, like, he wasn't official until he went to jail. Like, I seen that guy, what's his name? Bounty Hunter BJ said that he, like, took, like, $500,000 or some shit like that from Suge, him and his guys, something like that. Just sounded crazy to me. Because it didn't appear that way in general society and shit. Anyway, I got to get back on the road, man. I got to go upload this shit and put together this rest of this Shaheem shit. Nick, I appreciate you for... Can I get some music before I get up out here?
At the Bellagio, Balenciaga under the fur coat, Merlot. I don't drink, got it for old girl. I'm dead nice, you niggas dead broke. Best flow, coulda came home and made a meal on a furlough. Fat nigga lying, they say zip whack, kick back, me against who? That's a mismatch. Kill tracks, niggas that get dispatched. The kid back, flows a present on long day.
For all your advertising, networking, and promo, make sure you reach out. GullyTVBoss at Gmail. GullyTVBoss at Gmail for all your marketing and promo. Peace.